Hey guys, I thought I'd do another story time with you. These are videos that I do every now and again to tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm wanting to get to know you, and I hope you want to get to know me as well. Today, I thought I'd share with you some of the jobs that I've had throughout my working, paying job history, I guess. I've had lots of jobs throughout my life, and my first job okay, I'm going to start out real simple. My first job I had that paid something, which wasn't hardly anything at all. But back in the day, back in the 60s, they had a little newspaper called Grit, and I used to get Boys Life. I was, uh, did Cub Scouts, stuff like that. But I didn't do very well selling Grit newspapers. I don't even know if they're still around. I hope they are. It was a good, wholesome paper. And okay, and then my first paying job was when I was about, I'm going to say 16, and I worked with this man and his brother, and we were building a house in another town, not too far from where we live. And his brother was about, I'm going to guess 17, 18 years old. I was 16. He was a little older than me. But we'd work like from, I don't know, 7:30 to like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evenings. And it was a prefab house, and I thought that was pretty interesting. But my job's there, working with them, and the brother was like me. We were just kind of, I call us gophers, like go get this, or we need a ditch dug, or need a hole here, or go get me some more nails. Or you know, we was putting the shingles on the roof, stuff like that. And I'd never done that before, so I mean that was kind of interesting. Uh, I remember it was being really hot, and we done that. The house was built in no time, so I'm guessing like 2, 3 weeks later, the house was done. I mean, it's prefab. The walls come on a big old truck, and they just picked them up and set them down on the foundation and stuff. And it was done in no time. I couldn't believe it. And one day, when the truck showed up, the house was standing there. So we done that, and I remembered I got shorted a week on my pay, and I think at the time I was saving up for like a. At the time I was wanting a Honda Mini Trail 70 really bad, and I thought I'm going to work and get me one of those. But I got shorted a week, and I complained, but it was of no. I didn't get nothing. So the next job I had was in retail at a clothing store like place. They sold women's clothing, men's clothing, shoes, uh, women's perfume, men's cologne, stuff like that. And I worked there, working in that store. I was officially, I guess, titled uh, as working in the men's department with this lady that was training me. And I worked there. I wasn't full time. I was part time. I was going to school. Let's see, I was going to school, and I was working there, and then on the weekend nights I was working at the radio station as a DJ. But working at the retail store was kind of interesting. I was a man of many talents or hats or whatever you want to call it. I was the janitor. I cleaned up the women's and men's restrooms. I sold shoes. I sold cologne, perfume, stuff like that. Of course, socks. And my biggest problem was, uh, I would have to relieve the women and stuff. It's mostly women in the store. I might have been the only man that worked there other than the store manager. I think I was only male. But like when the lady went for that sold women's uh, undergarments and stuff like that, stockings and stuff, I had trouble. I didn't know what I was talking about. So normally, I would try my best to find another person that on the female side that could help me on that. So anyway, and I was the window washer. I took the money to the bank, and I would walk all the way down. We lived, the town was small then. I could walk all the way down the street to the corner, and First National Bank was there, and I would make the deposits and stuff for the store manager, and that was pretty interesting. Then on like Saturday, Friday nights, Saturday nights, and Sunday nights, I was a DJ, and I would fill in while the big radio personalities, were off on the weekends. Me and my friend would work at the radio station DJing, and I remember playing Casey Kasem, stuff like that, and playing records, commercials, telling the news. I didn't like telling the news very much and I still don't like to hear myself on videos or anything that I'm doing now. But that was kind of interesting work. But after that, see, I'm trying to remember. After that, I got a job, a full-time job. I was going to college, and like with so many other people, I'm no exception. I met this little girl, and we got married. So I decided I got a full-time job at this factory here in town. It was a well-established factory, and they made refrigerator motors and stuff like that. And this little electrical motors, big enough to run a refrigerator, stuff like that, those type motors. And I learned a lot during that job, and how motors and stuff and wires, the starter wires, the main wires, stuff like that. I really liked that job, and boy, I was wanting to stay there till I retired. I liked working there so well. Everybody got along great. It was a big factory. I mean, everybody just got along. I can't think of really one person that I didn't like. I liked everybody. And it seemed like at the time everybody liked me, but the unthinkable happened back about 1979 or 80, but the country went into a recession, and I got laid off. So I wound up working construction in another town, and I'm calling myself a gopher again, just whatever. I do whatever kind of guy, and I was picking and shoveling. I didn't have no talents. That's what I'm trying to say. I was pretty good at picking and shoveling, using a wheelbarrow, stuff like that. Man, I had muscles I did not know I had. I would come home, just give out tired, get a bath, and there I was, a newlywed, and we were struggling financially. Of course, the whole country was. I was no exception to the rule of that. So anyway, I got a job working at a factory facility, and they were making, I want to, they were like big old sides, and you put rivets in with a heat gun or something, some kind of gun, and you'd put a rivet into a piece of plastic so whoever got the plastic would attach screws to it and stuff. That's been so long ago. That's like around 1980. And I done that for a while, and I worked at another factory that produced plastic, and I was just kind of there I just kind of filled in for people that was on vacation, knew their jobs, do the jobs while they were gone, stuff like that. So after that job, I was applying all over the place trying to find a better job, and I wound up getting a job at a factory that made petroleum tankers. So I got a job there, and I was working 10-hour shifts, my normal shifts, 4 days a week, and sometimes on Friday. So I learned a lot. I really learned a lot there, and I really enjoyed the work there. I learned about wiring. I had couple of guys that was pretty patient with me and tried to show me stuff. I did learn a whole lot. Learned how to weld there. As I said, we were working 10-hour shifts, and I was on second shift, so it was like 3 till like I want to say like 1 or 2 in the morning. I think I got off at 2 in the morning after lunch and stuff like that. So anyway, so I done that, learned how to weld it, and I would come into work early like at 12 o'clock at lunchtime, and I would take a welding class up till my shift started at 3. So it made for a long day, but I learned how to weld. I got pretty good at it, and got really good at it to the point that I was taking the welding test for the factory. Me and another really good friend of mine, we'd do the test for the company for the state to see if our welds would break. Of course, they wouldn't. We were excellent welders, and so we would do them for the state. I still got some of my welding tests that here at home that I took that kept the factory, the facility that I worked at, you know, certified to weld. Make welding petroleum tankers and such. I'm not going to mention the name, but that was really interesting. After I learned how to weld there, I was wanting to learn how to paint, paint a petroleum tanker. And I got, I put in a bid and to do that, and they took me in the office. I remember this. They took me in the office and told me that I had the painter's job, but they were going to freeze me. Meaning that they weren't going to let me move. This car has went by 7 times since I've been out here. Is why I keep looking up. Anyway, they weren't going to let me move to a painter's job where I was wanting to learn how to paint, and I thought I could apply that to cars and trucks. I was wanting to learn everything about the facility. I thought maybe, it's interesting work. Reading blueprints and building a petroleum. I know they all look the same on the road, but they're not. They're all different, made different. And I really enjoyed doing that job. But the reason I left that job is because uh, I wasn't getting any raises. We went several years with no raise. And the management there, they had people in management that were just, I mean, they didn't know apples from oranges. And some of them had been hired on after me, like way after me. Never worked in a place like that. And, I was trying to figure out why did they get moved up? They didn't have no more schooling than me. They didn't know anything about the factory. Actually, I trained some of them. So, anyway, the management part got so bad. I mean, they just tell you big lies and stuff. And I just got to the point that I was just sick of it. So, I wasn't related to anybody either. A lot of them were related to, already supervisors and stuff. And there's number 8. 8 times I'm talking about this car going around. I don't know what they're looking for, but I'm glad I'm out here on the porch. So after that, I went to a facility that made uh, toilet paper and paper towels. That was interesting work too. I found that real interesting. Luckily, I got on there. I had a clean record. I never been in jail or anything, even though there were times I should have been thrown in jail for being young and being stupid. And I'm just saying it bluntly. Sometimes when you're young, you do some things that I look back on now and I wish I hadn't. But anyway, I've never been in jail or anything like that. I've had a couple of speeding tickets, but that's pretty much the extent of it. Uh, but this place that made toilet paper and paper towels, boy, I liked it. I worked in shipping. I loved working in shipping, and it was interesting. They used recycled paper, like old library books, newspapers, stuff like that, and it kind of looks like oatmeal when they get it all, with all the chemicals that break it down and stuff, and it was really interesting. The rolls of toilet paper or paper towels would be as big as this could be number 9. Let's see. Yeah, this is number 9. They've been around this neighborhood 9 times. Uh, if you're keeping up anyway. Anyway, I just really enjoyed doing that job, but it was 12-hour swing shift. You'd work 2 days, 12 hours on day shift, and off a day, work 2 hours. I'm sorry, let me start all over. 2 12-hour days of day shift, a day off, 3 12-hour days of day shift, 2 off, and then you'd recycle back and forth every other weekend. You got a weekend off, and then you'd go to night shift, and you'd work 12-hour nights, 6 till 6 in the morning. Well, I lived uh, a good hour. I mean, if you drive conservatively, a good hour away. So that was making my day a 14-hour day at least, not counting, coming home to eat, get a shower, try to get some sleep, and then jump back in the car and go again. And you had to make sure your car was in good shape, good tires, because, rain, sleet, hail, or snow, you had to go to work if it was your shift. So I done that for like, I want to say 3 years, and I got tired of that real quick. I got to where I couldn't stay awake 10 times. Anyway, I couldn't stay awake on my way home. I found myself on the interstate, kind of weaving and stuff. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to wind up killing myself or someone else or both. So I got a job here in town working at a factory that made automotive seating. And that was a real good place to work too. But as I said, management, and being kin to other people. Once you get your kinfolk involved, and you get all these people that I don't I don't know how to say this. To I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything, but sometimes when you go to college and you get a degree, that doesn't mean that you know how to run a factory. I would, if I was, I've never had a new car or truck in my life, but if I ever did, I wouldn't ask the salesman. I wouldn't ask, you know, somebody in management. I would want to ask somebody if I was buying a new car or truck, which I never will, but I would go ask a worker on the floor and I'd say, what do you think about these things? There's 11 times he's been around the neighborhood. I would ask a factory worker, what do they think about the vehicles they're producing? And a lot of times, I'd ask several if I was getting a new car or truck, and I would ask them, and a lot of times you'll get the truth, about well, I don't think that they're really up to par, or you don't want to buy one on Fridays. I've always heard that, or Mondays. I guess y'all's heard that old saying too. But anyway, I liked working at this facility up until things went haywire, and I stayed up until I retired, and it was a challenge for me, a real challenge to stay there and listen to some of this uh, garbage, I guess I'll say. Anyway, I'm sorry I got off on something else, but anyway, I just wanted to tell you I've left out a few jobs that of no significance, but I've done a lot of different jobs. I'm not good at any of them that really, to be good, to say I'm an expert on anything would be a lie. But I just want to tell you a little bit about myself, tell you tell you how I got here at this point in my life today. And I'm on my third marriage, if you didn't know that. First one lasted about 3 years, and 12, this is 12 times. Uh, the second one lasted 9 years, and this one has lasted 26 years. But it's just one of those things sometimes sometimes things don't work out. First time I was really young and naive, I guess, and second time I thought I was smarter. But it takes two to tango, they say, or two to you got to trust your other partners. So uh, sometimes that creates a problem if you can't do that. So anyway, got off on something else, didn't I? Anyway, I hope y'all's having a great day. I am. I'm having a great day. And I'm glad y'all listened to this story time. I hope you found it maybe amusing or learned a little bit more about me, where I'm at, and this, that, and other. I just like to share things with you. If you like the video or like story time, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. I sure would appreciate that a whole lot. And I'm on Instagram, Primate is Best, and Facebook, Primate is Best. Thanks a lot for watching and listening to me. And I hope y'all's having a great day. Y'all please stay safe. And you know something? Please pray for our country. We sure do need a lot of prayers. Number 13. Let me show you. Hopefully you can see it real quick. 13 times. I don't know where he gets his gas at, but it must be really cheap wherever he gets it. Y'all have a great day. See you later.